Hello and good afternoon, although it feels like evening now after that mistake. I've got the Tour of Oman preview with the very patient Jay Robert Thomson. For those who were in earlier, the sound wasn't quite working. We have fixed that now, so we will just go a quick recap. I think important that we talk a little bit about Jay first of all. He just finished riding the front like a monster in the Tour of Dubai for Mark Cavendish. Unfortunately, Cavendish didn't pick up any wins over in Dubai. How was Dubai, Jay?
Yeah, from a race it's a really good race. It does fill in for Qatar now being out of place this year. So it was really good to go there and ride, and gave us an opportunity to work together as a team. And yeah, as you say, it was unfortunate Mark didn't pick up a stage, but I can tell you it wasn't from a lack of trying from his side and from the team. He just had Lady Luck didn't want him to open his winning account just yet. So hopefully he can go to Algarve and put his hands up there, give him some confidence going forward through the season.
He always seems like a rider who is fairly honest and quite brutal on himself at times. Have you experienced that in the past from him?
Yeah, as I said earlier, for me, Mark is a true champion. He gives everything he's got. If you give him everything, he's going to give you everything. And at the end of the day, he is honest. If he didn't have what it takes in his legs, I've been at races where he said, I just didn't have it today. And then, obviously also Lady Luck has a lot to do, also sprinting, as you've seen. If the guy comes into the last 4Ks on a flat wheel and then still sprints third with the best sprinters in the world, he's got something in him. So, that just shows he's I think a menace to himself. He can sometimes be a little bit too hard on himself, but to be one of the best in the world and to be a true champion, you have to be a little bit harder, and you have to make yourself believe in, when you do something wrong, be honest about it, and when you do something right, stand by it, So, Mark, I think for me, is a real true champion.
And he obviously brings something else to the team and to the squad. We chatted a wee bit before about the charity work. I think it's important we touch back on that. You've mentioned the handover days where you give the bikes to the young kids. Just talk me through what that feels like as a rider, as a human being.
Yeah, as a rider, especially as a guy that comes from South Africa, Quebec is something else. You know what the hardships are that the people are going through, and to be able to give back like Quebec does, it gives you a different feeling and gives you like almost a little bit of a more drive than you do if you're just in another team where you're riding just for, obviously for a sponsor, you still give it everything you got, but when you're giving more than just riding the bike, and it's more than just you, the team where you're riding, it makes something, it makes something more, something better.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You were also talking about visas before, which was something I think most of us who are outside of Africa aren't really aware about as a problem. And you were saying how it opened the doors to a lot of African riders getting across to Europe. How hard is it to get visas?
As a European or American, Australian, you guys have no idea. Really, it's incredibly hard, and what Douglas Ryder's done with the team and what he's done for Africa, it's really opened doors that were never open for when the times were when he was a bike rider, or when Robert Hunter started as a professional. You never had these opportunities where a team actually set it up that they could help you with the visa and get you to Europe a bit easier. Before, the teams used to say, well, you want to come race in Europe, you sort yourself out. And then you had to fight. And yeah, when you go to a visa, they want to know why you want to be in their country and for how long, and why you don't want to stay in your country. And if you're coming for a job, they ask the team, why do you want to give this guy a job over somebody that's from Italy or from France or from Spain, or So yeah, as a South African and an African, it makes life really difficult, and it can make a lot of stress just having these visa issues that we have as a continent. So yes, what Douglas has done with the team, and it's been incredible. You couldn't ask for something more as an African. As a young, inspiring. If I look back and I think how the young guys must be inspired at home to know that there's a chance that they could come and race at the biggest races in the world with a team that's their own, in a sense. It's it's a big opportunity for young guys to keep on driving forward and keeping wanting. And I think just with our team, it's also opened the eyes of other European cycling teams to actually realize, hey, Africa's got a lot of talent.
And
so it does.
The TV company over in South Africa seems to do quite a good job at getting live races on as well. And obviously seeing you guys on the front, it must be having an impact on the numbers participating in the sport and looking to try and move on. They see yourself, they see riders like Kudus doing incredibly well. It must be motivating for yourself to know that you're out there as an ambassador.
Yeah, of course, when you know that the whole of Africa is watching our team more than any other team because we are Africa's team, yeah, it does give you more motivation and it does give you a little bit of a lift. I would never be in you never know where I would be if it wasn't for this team. And a lot of the riders, we don't know if they would have ever got out of Africa or South Africa if it wasn't for this team. So, yeah, you do have more motivation and you have a bit more push to go in a race. So to see Mahawi Kudus, climbing with the best in the world, when they're talking about winning the Giro and winning the Tour de France, I don't think Quintana's going slowly at the moment if he wants to win the Giro. So for Mahawi to follow, that's it just shows you that it's possible. That nothing's impossible. So so coming from Africa, we have a visa issue, but it's not impossible to overcome anything and become something great.
And looking specifically at Oman, you arrive with Mason Haas and Kudus as the two kind of big riders, stage winners potentially. Kudus could go really high on GC. Your role in this race slightly different from the last one.
Yeah, of course. Not having an all-out right sprinter, but like market the race. My role will be a bit different. Trying to maybe get deeper in the final to maybe help on the more climbier, punchier days to help Nathan and Christian. Sporadically, he'll also be there. So, to try and be deeper in there, maybe be more into the, dropping them off on the last time over the climb or trying to get them onto a sprint train wheel. So, yeah, my role will be a little bit different. It'll probably take a little adjustment on the first day, but, yeah. I'm looking forward to it, and I enjoy coming to a race where I can do something different and show my ability in a different way. Not that I'm just a diesel engine that rides the front at 300 watts all day and then that's all I can do. And also obviously to try and help Mahawi Kudus, and also we have Lachlan Walken that'll be there in Oman. So for the Green Mountain, to drop them two off the bottom of Green Mountain with 6Ks to go in the front and say, okay, good luck, boys. It's also a job that I think it'll be on my cards for that.
Looking at the stars for the race, both yourself and myself have a look at identifying some riders who will threaten on GC and for stages. 1-star riders, you've gone for your teammate Kudus, you've gone for Sonny Colbrelli, and you've gone for Fabio Aru. Talk about Fabio Aru this time.
Yeah, to be honest, I was looking through the potential start list of which guys have been there, and I looked at a few bit of the results from the last couple of years there. And Aru's always been good at up Green Mountain. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he has won up there once before. Don't know what his condition's like right now, so you can't leave somebody out that's potentially won up there before. So you can't just say, okay, well, no. So seeing him on the start list, and obviously he always looks to the Giro because it's a home race and that's what he wants. And with Oman being now, I think it's a good thing for him to test his legs to see what his winter work is, if it's really paid off this year and if he's in a good work direction towards the first Grand Tour of the year.
Yeah, I would certainly agree. He looks a threat, and after a rather disappointing season last season, I could imagine his team bosses have probably put the pressure on him a little bit, like they used to do with Nibali. My 1-star riders, I've gone for Oliver Nason, who will really like a couple of these classic style stages. Rui Costa, who is sure to be in the mix for GC as well as a stage, and Jakob Fuglsang, teammate of Aru. Not too sure which one will get the nod. Maybe both will be allowed to ride for the win, and having two riders would be obviously a big threat. 2 stars you've gone for your teammate Nathan Haas, you've got Alexander Kristoff, and you've got Tom Bonin. Quick Step, always a threat in these races, yeah?
Yeah, of course. And Tom Bonin, when there's a sprint and that's before the classics, you know that he's going to be in good shape. We saw down in Argentina, he was already being a teammate there and helping his teammate win. He was second, won a stage himself. So for sure he's motivated. His career finishes on the 9th of April. So you know that he's only got 3 months left to push himself to the deepest, darkest corners that he can to get the best out of his body. So you know that he's going to be doing it. And you know he's going to want to step out of the sport being the king of the Kabul Classic. So for me, yeah, I think he's a real threat for the bunch sprints in Oman.
He is. I like what you say about he's only got till April, and he looks incredibly thin, and he looks incredibly motivated to finish.
To me, it looks like he's more motivated than he's ever been. So
yeah, a kind of weird
to finish his career on a high.
Yeah, a weird situation to be in, to only have a season for 3 months. Yeah, he's looking good. He's sure to take out some big wins before, and maybe even on his last race as well. 2 stars I've gone for Kristoff, Aru, and your teammate Kudus. Was so impressed by him in Valenciana, following Quintana for a good while. He finished second there on the Queen's stage. He looks to be in really good form, and I'm excited to see what he can do, not only this race but this season going forward. 3 stars you've gone for Ben Hermans, Rui Costa, and Bob Jungels. Some interesting picks in there. Talk me through them.
Ben Hermans, I think he's a real powerful guy. You know, with a lot of the stages being new, I think he can climb a little bit better than Edvald can. And watching how Edvald went in Oman last year, and I saw now he was in Valencia too. He was part of the team time trial, if I'm not mistaken, and yeah, he was up there. I think he did finish on this podium for the GC second. Yeah, so you know, he's a good pick for me. You know, Green Mountain's only 5.7 Ks, but it's something that he's not going to lose 10 minutes. You know, so with the puncher finishes, he might be able to pull 1 or 2 seconds on the climber, so they will have to distance him. And with him being a good climber, it's not so easy. And yeah, so I can see him, and he must be in a good condition to be running second GC in Valencia. Then Costa, you know, winning the Queen stage down in Argentina. I don't know. Let's see how he goes. You know, he's also a bit of a wild card, but winning the Queen stages, you always have to think with only one real Queen stage in Oman, the money's on that. The guy that's going to win that stage is going to be close to putting out the GC, you know, so let's see what he can do. And then Bob Jungels, this guy's a talent. I rode the front a few days with him in Dubai, and I can tell you, horsepower he doesn't lack. We all saw what he did at the Giro last year. I was there myself, and I was suffering at the back every day, getting dropped, and Bob was doing things that only he could do. You know, so humble guy, really, he's down to earth. I would love to see him do something good in winning a stage or going for the GC there. We don't know, but I don't know. I've got him for some reason. After watching how he was riding some days on the front there for Kittel, I think he can do something special.
Yeah, he was looking fairly awesome. Not only
when you front and you're doing the same watts when you have to get behind him, but then you know he's going fast.
Yeah, he was looking really, like, for first race of the season, he came out really firing. I'm glad you've got him on the list. I've left him off my list, so I'm glad you've put him in. His 6th place at the Giro last season potentially was up there in kind of rides of the season. For a big guy like himself, yeah, to change going from TTs to GC in a 3-week Grand Tour, sensational. I've gone for kind of boring picks compared to yours now. I've gone for Romain Bardet. Second in the Tour last season, second in the Dauphiné, what an outstanding rider. I think fans just love him because he is so attacking. He's not your typical GC rider who will just sit on Froome's wheel all day and hope to eventually finish second or third. He will attack and he will go for it. And I've also got Greg Van Avermaet in there. Massive fan of Van Avermaet. I think he is just one of those riders who is on a different level to most others, him and Sagan probably. He was good here last season, and I would expect him to definitely take out a stage at some point. Green Mountain will be too tough for him. We saw that in Valenciana, but he'll go well, no doubt.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what Greg does now after he broke his ankle, right?
Yeah.
He broke his ankle in the beginning of the off-season or beginning of the new season. So when you're always chasing a little bit, you hope he doesn't burn out before the classics come either. That's also the biggest problem when you come back, because he's got such a fighting spirit. After seeing him win the Olympic gold, you know that he's a champion. But so maybe that was a name that I bypassed. I saw an article of him saying that he was going for stage wins, and I was like, maybe that's a name I should have put on. But I already had Ben on Muns, and I thought, okay, I'm not going to put the whole of BMC on my. Need to give my team also a chance to win something and do some stuff. But yeah,
it's okay. I've got him on my list. It's fine as long as one of us mentions him. It's okay. Okay, so overall prediction: who do you think's going to take out the GC?
From my point of view, I hope Mahawi Kudus. If we can keep him out of trouble and keep him safe, and he climbs like he did it, because he's going to attack as well. He doesn't like to also sit. So if we can keep him from losing time in the punchier days, the chances of him doing something special and getting a chance at cracking the GC, I think is really good. So.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go for it and say, Mahawi. I've got him as a 1-star because he's young. I don't have him as a 1-star because I don't think it's possible. I think, because he's my teammate, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Problem is now you've got to deliver him 3 kilometres up the Green Mountain.
Oh, that I can leave to Lachlan. I can do maybe 1K up.
I will go with Bardet, I think. Although I did read he's maybe not 100% focused on this race, maybe looking towards races further down the line. But these GC riders, when there's a sniff of taking an overall win, they don't say no. They always go full gas. So you're on Kudus, couple of stages for Haas. I'm on
a couple of stages in the GC. That would be perfect.
Yeah, it'll be a good way to start the season for you. I'm on Bardet. Well, Jay, thank you very much for taking time out to join us today. Hope you have a nice flight, and I hope you have a good week in the sunshine.
Thanks very much, David, and I appreciate the chance to do this with you.
Great, we'll do it again sometime.
Perfect.